All right, welcome to episode 6 of the Salt Mine, all the Wong moves. The Salt Mine is a Malifaux show. What we're going to do is we're going to go through a recent game of mine. You're going to have the chance to tell me everything I've done right, everything I've done wrong, and just have a good conversation on the chat. This show is all about the conversation, so please participate in the chat. Let me know if you can't hear me, and I look forward to talking with you. In fact, I'm having trouble connecting to the chat at the moment, so give me a second and I'll make sure that I'm actually in the chat. While I do that, let's take a look at tonight's strats and schemes. So for tonight, we have a wedge deployment and symbols of authority. The schemes are leave your mark, spread them out, take prisoner, research mission, and breakthrough. Research mission and runic binding. My brain apparently wants it to be breakthrough, but it is not. Hey Chad, give me something in the chat to let me know that whether you can hear me or not. That way I won't do what I did last week and go on and on for 10 minutes without having anything there. All right, looking at our crew selection. We have as a Lady Justice versus Wong matchup. I've got the Scales of Justice, Pale Rider with no prisoners, Lone Marshal, Undercover Reporter with no prisoners, the Domador, and Stewie. All right, good to see you, Rob. Good to see you, John. Thanks for letting me know you could hear me. So just a couple things I want to talk about my crew before I go to the opposing crew. I went with no prisoners rather than lead-line coat on Pale Rider and Undercover Reporter. Part of that was I thought I might see Hazardous. We've been talking about in the Discord chat, on the Swamp Fiends Discord chat, about pit traps in Wong and using his ability to drop those markers anywhere else on the board instead. And I didn't really like the idea of having to reckon with that to get to the symbols markers, so I threw the no prisoners on Pale Rider and Undercover for that, figuring it would also help with the shockwaves. I also had a lead line coat on Lady Justice, and we'll come back to how that worked out in a little bit. My opponent, Dave, you probably know Dave both from the Rage Quit Wire episode and from his appearances on Swamp Fiends. He's a really good guy and a fun opponent. So he was running Wong. This was his first time running Wong, so he took, I think, was considered a fairly standard Wong list. Olivia, Sammy, the Pigapole, Swine Curse, Bokor, and Taxidermist with Inferiority Complex. Now I couldn't figure out what the Inferiority Complex deal was, but it ended up what he was using it for was to get double crit strikes if he was attacking anything under 8 stones. A really nice combination there, especially when you're able to get that mile fast without much effort. Rob, his smooth dulcet tones, I'm sure it was nothing but a joy for your balls. So looking at the battlefield tonight, we were doing the prison break. Now, I picked it at random before me and Dave's game, and I really dislike this map. We're seeing it right now with the ceilings on, but there are also interior spaces on all of these buildings, and they're all really awkward to get to. We both picked our lists without knowing the board, and I think we both would have picked a little differently otherwise. So what ended up happening, we put the symbol markers down. I'm going to use my pen here to just kind of point out where those ended up. We've got one up in the corner here, we got one here, we got one there, and I put one in the other corner. Dave went with one in the building here. This one up here is up on the roof. This one's in front of the building. This one's up on the roof back here. Pretty much ungettable by anyone but Lady J. And then there's that one that's honestly kind of out in the open and easier to get to, but that's also going to be close to where he's deploying. So that's where his were. I don't like building rules in general. I think if I had been thinking, I would have just re-rolled the map. But I figured we'd challenge ourselves with it and see what we could come up with. So, what a mess. Alright, so let's talk about scheme selection. We go back. You can see that we had take prisoner, research mission, runic binding, spread them out, and leave your mark. That's a lot of scheme marker schemes. Since he had both Sammy and Wong, he had some real hate for my scheme marker moves that I would make. So I didn't really want to take, I certainly didn't want to take 2 scheme marker schemes. So that meant I was definitely taking take prisoner. I ended up taking it on one of the swine cursed. I figured that they'd probably get launched up towards me, and I was hoping to take advantage of that. The other one I took was leave your mark. I looked at the crews. I figured honestly I could probably be the beatdown. I could control that middle. I wasn't going to outspeed him, but I might be able to hold him back long enough to get that marker down. So him. Spread them out and research mission both just felt natural for Wong. Now the problem is that he doesn't really make both happen at once. He can only do his up and away once per turn. But those markers spread them out were going to be in horrible places. I thought about keeping the undercover reporter back and using him as just the ultimate anti-scheme marker tech, but I decided I really wanted to deal with the Pigapult, and you'll see how that played out in a little bit. Pigapult seems like a big threat. I want to go after it. It's going to throw his guys forward for symbols. It's going to do damage. It's going to use those pigs that he can summon. I didn't like having him anywhere on the board, and I knew what kind of havoc he could reach, so I wanted to go after him right away. So deployment. If you look here, a lot of auras going on because Dave had a lot of auras he had to think about when setting up his crew. You look at my deployment. Honestly, I just have the scales up there to guard the left-hand corner up here. The Lone Marshal figuring he can get some good early running guns, and Pale can help get Lei J out of that quagmire. I had Domador on top of the building and Guild Steward inside the building. I think my thought was I'd use the Guild Steward to go protect that back marker if need be. I just should have set it up over by Lady Justice, but you look over here, he's got a stuffed piglet there. He actually had another stuffed piglet, I want to say, over here. I think I took my screenshot before we put it down, because both the taxidermist and the Pigapult, I think, or Sammy and the Pigapult summoned one at the start of the game. He had Olivia up on the building, and then everyone else was down low. The Swine Curse on either side of the wedge, the Bokor right there in the middle, Wong right there, and then the Sammy and the taxidermist going down that side. So turn one. So what kind of went down turn one? The Lone Marshal was able to move up, take a shot on one of the basically we did like little activations, added focus, things like that. He used Wong to pulse out some glowy to everyone, doing a little damage to them, but kept everyone kind of bunched up. I used the Lone Marshal and the Rider to take shots at one of the Swine Curse, got him down to 1 wound. Now, at that point, I think it was after I did the Pale Riders ride with me and then took 1 shot and pulled him back, and I missed with a focus shot because my high card was a 10. My high card in hand that turn was a 10. So I took a shot at the Swine Cursed who had been over on this side over here. So he charges up into LJ, gets 1 attack on LJ. I hot flip Queen of Masks and just riposte that last wound right off of the Swine Cursed. Big deal because it means that Lei J can then leap, walk, because she had to leap to get out of from the piglet's range. So leap, walk, charge the pigapult. Gets some damage on the pigapult, gets it down to 1 wound. She's able to heal the pigapult back up with the bow core. Back up. I don't remember if it was to 6 or close to it, but it basically healed it almost all the way up. If I had just managed to hit one critical strike, I probably would have killed the pigapult. I got a single mass trigger to take a swing on Wong, but he stoned away the damage on that. But I got it down to 1 wound and engaged by Lay Justice, but not very well. It's a 2-inch reach. It's barely within range. And at that point, he heals it, and I put the undercover reporter into the mix. So undercover report comes in on where the bow core was. The bow core was basically where the swine curse was. So he places the bow core over here. The undercover reporter gets a focus by making the swine curse interact and knocks the pigapult back down with a 3-wound hit. Would have really loved a severe there, but I just didn't have the cards. But he does ignore armor. He doesn't ignore shielded. That's how it was 3. I think it was 4, and it got knocked down to 3 by shielded. He charges the fast taxidermist is able to walk in, or is already engaged with the undercover reporter. Takes 3 swings, misses 3 times. Dave's very disappointed in this. I just flipped really well. Then the swine curse comes in and is able to heroic walk around, then heroic intervention to push everyone else out, including the pigapult, and and put some damage onto the undercover reporter. Undercover reporter. Then everyone gets hit with a pigapult throwing the pig. So the piglet lands, bacon bombs us, takes 2 wounds off Lay J, takes a wound off of the undercover reporter, and and the swine curse manages to pass the duel. At the end of the turn, actually, this isn't quite accurate because the undercover is able to push right back over here into engagement with the pigapult, but that's really turn 1. It's hot flipping by me to keep the undercover reporter alive, but again, my hand was absolute garbage, so it was kind of some pluses, some minuses. Taking out a swine curse early was good. I didn't realize quite the monster the taxidermist was. I was going to learn that as time went on. But I did forget the lead line coat on Lady Justice. So I'm still won't sure he has spread them out. I have no idea on everything else. Because of my jam, he kind of stayed in his wedge bubble. Hasn't really shown me anything yet, so I don't really have any good ideas on schemes. He could have research mission, but he didn't try to put other markers over on the other side, which is kind of what I would have done if I was doing research mission. So I don't really know what to look for there. Turn 2. I think I spent a king on initiative. I spent something high, and it was my only severe. What ends up happening here is the undercover reporter is able to activate first and kill both the pigapult and the piglet. Now, he is then Dave activates his swine cursed and goes into Lady J. I don't have, since I spent my 1 high card, I don't have, I needed to go first in that one, John. I needed to get the pigapult dead with the undercover reporter, because if he went into my undercover reporter with me not having any cards, he was going to die. And I needed to keep him alive. So because of that, Lady J ends up on 2 wounds. I've been forgetting leadline coat that whole time. It would have only been she would have only been at. She was at 4 wounds remaining. She would have been at 8 at that point, and I would have been in a much better spot. She activates. Again, I don't have cards, and I know I have the card for the leap and attack. I take 3 attacks on the Swine Curse, thinking I'll kill it in 3 attacks, no problem. Nope, it lives through it, and but I am able to leap and pick up the marker because one of the attacks was on the leap. So I do pick up the marker. But I don't get the heal off of killing the Swine Curse with him. Leaves the Swine Curse at 1 wound. Olivia comes up, pokes Lady J right in the eye, kills her, which was a pretty funny moment. So Lady J's down. I'm not feeling great, but I'm able to use the Lone Marshal to charge the Swine Curse, kill it. I think I take a shot on Wong and miss. He moves Wong up a little bit to, I think, do some schemes and to look into that building there. And I'm able to put 2 focus shots from the Pale Rider into him, getting him down to 8 wounds. And staggering him, which I thought might matter as well. So you can kind of see the taxidermist kills the undercover reporter, or down there, and he ends up not hitting. He only hits on one of his attacks, so the Bokor actually has to obey him to get that second attack to get him dead, which to me was a massive win. Really tied up that expensive model with the upgrade. He's 10 points for 2 turns with just that one model, and he got his own kills in return. But losing LJ, big deal. I'm feeling good on attrition at this point, but I don't see, besides that front symbols marker, I basically give up on symbols at that point. Because I've killed my take prisoner target, I give up on that as well. So I know I need to play defense at this point. And so looking again, I think he has spread. He's dropped that one marker there on the corner of that building. Actually, that was the piglet died. So this one up here, the piglet. This was the piglet from the Swine Curse dying and dropping a marker. A lot of nice synergy there to get those dropped. This is his spread them out marker, but I'm able to get those taken care of. I think the Domador was able to shoot that piglet to death because he had reckless to get over there. Yeah, this model is just sitting here doing nothing, getting me a card a turn usually. And that's really it. So going into the next turn, again, I know he's got sperm. I got no idea for the other one. I thought he probably didn't have Leave Your Mark, because if he had it, he could have dropped it there that turn and probably scored it. But he didn't, so I don't think Leave Your Mark at this point. I really have no idea. I think maybe he had Take Prisoner on a model he killed, but I don't really know. Going into the next turn. So turn 3, I cheat a queen for initiative. He's had, because of past tokens, that's going to guarantee me initiative. I have the red joker in hand, and what ends up happening is, oh no, I use like a 9, so he'd need to spend a queen to take initiative. He lets me have initiative, thinking I'm not going to kill Wong. He's got 8 wounds. He's got hard to kill. I don't have something that can kill him in one go. Enter Pale Rider. Pale Rider comes in. I don't have the red joker in hand. The queen was my only severe, I believe, this turn. So Pale Rider charges Wong, hits him real good. Hits him just, I think, for 2. He reduces to 1. I hit him with my pulse to get another 2 damage onto him. He's at 5 at that point. 1 stone left, and I flip. He flips. I won the flip, so he had to cheat. He cheated, but he cheated. I want to say he cheated like a 16, and I had a 10 in hand. And I threw that 10 on there and said to him, I'm flipping 3. hunting for the red joker. Flip, flip, flip. First card was the red joker. 6 damage. He can stone as long as he doesn't get a weak. Wong lives at least gets another action out of it and probably causes me a lot of harm. Flip's weak. Wong dies. He's pretty discouraged at this point, but he's thinking about, okay, what do I need to do? What do I need to do? It was really a credit to him because the cards were not going well for him, but he was trying to figure out what he needed to do to make things happen. Ends up obeying and hurting the taxidermist. So taxidermist goes from the bottom of the map to the top, takes a swing but isn't able to get a kill. I'm not able to drop a scheme marker with the lone marshal because I think he engaged him with the taxidermist as well. So while I was able to use his 0 action to disengage and still get 2 actions, which I think I used to take shots on Sammy, I was not able to drop a marker. He walks up here, he drops a marker underneath my lone marshal. So actually I think I put question marks here. I think he actually got his leave your mark that turn. So he gets his leave your mark. I give up on having the totem in the corner, decide that's not going to be needed. He starts working his way up. He still won't be relevant this game, but he likes to pretend. He draws me some cards, or draws me a card. He uses the up we go to drop the ski marker into that building. I should have, if I'd been smart, but I think because that was at the start of turn, I should have taken him in that way to try to pick up that marker. I didn't, but lesson learned. Domador jumps off the building, gets healed by the steward, and I think he healed something up here, but I don't remember what, to be honest. So, looking at the board, turn 3, he's got his leave your mark. He doesn't have any scheme points yet. It's 1-0 still. I don't see myself getting a lot of points by. What I do realize is that he didn't engage me and I didn't engage him because Sammy's also got a 0, and that's a big deal. So going into the next turn, again, I think I had a pass token advantage from the last turn, but it was like my last turn of having that, or it was even, one of the two. I'm able to flip high, go down, and get that symbols marker. That's going to give me 2. He scores that spread them out that he's been working on, using Olivia to come up there and drop a marker. He drops a mark. He starts dropping markers for leave your mark there, and uses a piglet to engage the Pale Rider. Pale Rider pulsed again, and then finishes off the taxidermist. The Domador, I think I missed an obey roll on the Pale Rider with. And he moves the flying piglet up here to try to get in range to score next turn. So it's 2-2 at this point. I don't know why it says 1 up there. I apparently did a poor job of preparing for this stream. But you kind of see where this is going. He scored leave your mark. He scored spread. What ends up happening, he's able to obey the flying piglet over here. I took the picture here instead of at the end of the turn. So you can see the Domador's got 1 shot at obeying the flying piglet. I'm able to get my leave your mark and stop his, but because I kill everyone else with the pulse and the attack. But the Bocor is able to walk up there, obey the flying piglet to that spot. I'm not able to obey him back. I use a focus, but he's in concealing. I flip 2 cards. I get a queen, which would have been enough because he's only like willpower 3. But we realized that the queen was the second card, and I was cheating again. So looking back on it, at the time we thought I had won, but looking back on it, it was actually a tie because I was not able to stop the flying piglet. We end up with a 3-3 tie. A lot of mistakes this game. We're going to call this the Hall of Shame. I completely forgot Justice's lead-line code. I forgot that no prisoners would have healed would have healed 2 wounds on my undercover reporter and let him push 4 inches. He could have gotten out and been a lot harder for the taxidermist to get to that way, much less kill. He probably would have lived. That would have been a big difference. I flipped 2 cards on that final obey. We corrected that for the game. I stunned Wong on that first attack on a coordinated strike trigger. It didn't. We don't think it ended up mattering much. There was one point where he could have squealed, but that was really it. We forgot Olivia's increasing TNs when we should have been doing it. I didn't apply the plus focus for a flip, and we don't think we remembered Sammy's card draw on several occasions, and probably not his shielded as well. How did I do? The list was fine. It was a pretty bog standard Lady J list. I may have liked Jury more in this map in this game. But in another game where speed would have helped more than being able to fit through a doorway, I don't know. I think I was smart to go after the pickup pult. It would have been a real problem for me. I just can't cover that much board space. And we made so many board mistakes. I gotta work on that. I gotta work on my late game play. I had probably twice the points on the board than him at the end of the game, but I wasn't able to make that work. Dave's been outplaying me in the late game every time we play. Whether he wins or he loses in that late game, he just wrecks me. So it's something I'd really like to work on. Dave was a wonderful opponent, a lot of fun. My predictions on schemes, I think they were okay. Calling the spread was good. I don't know why I'm bad at denying leave your mark. I really am. I need to get a marker down early, but I just get so excited about killing that it's hard for me to stay focused on that. And with Sammy on the board, I was really worried about him turning it into a piglet, which I did not, or a stuffed piglet, which I really did not want. Special thanks to my opponent, Dave, the proprietors of the Historic Haven Gaming Club. It really does let me do a lot of gaming that I wouldn't be able to do otherwise. My incredibly patient wife, Leslie. If you want to talk more Malifaux with me or other folks, come to the Swamp Fiends Discord or the Guild Facebook chat. If you want some more quality foam media, there's tons of podcasts. You can check out the Third Floor Wars, Other Coast, Swamp Fiends, The Steam Powered Scoundrels, Rage Quit Wire, Schemes and Stones, Capital City Crew, Harlow, and Gaming with a Salty Slacker. And I bet you there's more that I haven't even found out about yet. There's great YouTube channels doing Malifaux videos right now. The Household Gamer, The Geeky Villains, Dan Brown, TNG Productions, Intensely Relaxed Gaming, Jim Dyson, the YouTube channel is James Dyson, Gorilla Miniature Games, and Skirmish Miniature Gaming. And again, I don't know how to say Plog's channel, so I mean at some point I have to get him to teach me how to say it, and that way I can announce it properly. Thank you so much for coming. I know this was a pretty quick episode. We kept it under a half hour, but I really appreciate you all coming out, and I hope you have a good one. I'll be in the chat if anyone wants to talk some foe. Have a good day.